Hey, guess what, friend? The highest ROI marketing channel for your law firm costs almost nothing, and you're already sitting on a gold mine.
Welcome to the Lawyer Millionaire Podcast, the show where law firm owners learn to build wealth, scale their firms, and design the life of freedom they deserve. Hosted by Darren Wurz, business and wealth advisor for law firm owners and author of The Lawyer Millionaire, this podcast delivers the strategies and inspiration you need to break free from the grind and become the financial success you envision. Let's dive in.
All right, and we're here with Delisi Friday, founder of First Call Friday. Excited to talk about referral marketing. Welcome to the show, Delisi.
Hi, Darren. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm super excited to have you on because, we've been doing this whole series on profit. And as we'll learn later in the year, it's so integral to profit, because one of the biggest spending categories for law firms is marketing. But unfortunately, where everyone thinks they need to go to this big ad spend, need to spend all kinds of money. And certainly there are firms that works well for, but referral marketing will always be number one, I think. What do you think?
I mean, all I talk about is referral marketing. So yes, 100% yes. I am someone who will say as loud as I possibly can, no ad will ever beat the level of trust that comes with a referral. A referral will always trump an ad for that reason because they're so strong, which means they convert at much higher rate. And that trust is built into them, and an ad can never buy that.
Yeah, we just talked a couple episodes ago with Tim Semmelroth, biggest personal injury firm in Iowa and one of the biggest in the country. And he said that the biggest chunk of their new clients come from referrals, even in a big firm like that. So it's so powerful. Delisi, what is one belief about referral marketing that you think most people get wrong?
That's actually a very easy answer.
Okay.
The most common thing people get wrong is referral marketing means networking. No.
Ooh, tell me more.
No, it does not.
Okay.
And here's a prime example. One of the key places I believe law firms should be putting their time and their money towards is marketing to former clients, because former clients are some of the easiest places where you can get referrals. And that requires zero networking. That just requires a little bit of thought into how you're going to do that. Are you going to send them happy birthday cards every year? Are you going to have a summer event where you invite all of your former clients? Are you going to do something else? Maybe you do an email campaign, whatever that looks like for your firm. That doesn't require networking. And former clients is a gold mine for so many lawyers. It doesn't matter what practice area you're in, because those former clients can talk sincerely about what their experience was working with these law firms. And that is not networking. Referral marketing is not just networking, and that's one of the biggest misconceptions I hear on a regular basis.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. That's great to see that distinction, that it's different. How do you define success, or what does a successful referral marketer look like?
A successful referral marketer, like inside of a law firm, or successful referral marketer could be the lawyer who's taking an action?
Yeah, the lawyer taking action. What does it look like for them?
I define success as having a plan. These are the things that I want to do throughout the year, taking the action and actually executing on them. Okay. And that's success for me. One thing you'll notice is I didn't put a certain amount of cases that come into the firm that are referred, because that is such a hard number to come up with, and it's going to be different for everyone. So anytime I talk to a new law firm, I say, look, I cannot guarantee results. You can't either. And if I could, I'd be retired. I wouldn't be doing this. I would just be living life because I'd be so stinking rich. But what I can guarantee is having a plan and taking an action is going to increase the likelihood you have of success by generating more referrals into your law firm. But success is not saying, oh, I have all of these ideas. Let me think about which ones I want to do. Well, if you don't take the action, you're never going to see the results. So for me, success is coming up with a plan, determining who does what by when, executing on that plan, and eventually that will turn into referrals. The next step of that is going to be when you have referrals coming in, let's measure, are those increasing? And then you can see, okay, what can we do more of to increase those referrals? But the first place is just have a plan, execute on it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. You know, it's the doing that matters.
It
You've got to
is.
actually make it happen.
Well, and the hard part is, you know what's fun for me? Coming up with the ideas. I can come up with
Yeah.
ideas all day long. That's so much fun for me.
hmm
But the challenging part is, okay, let's talk about time, team, and tools. How much time do we need to do this? Who on our team is going to be responsible? What tools do we need? And tools
Yeah.
could be money as well. And then deciding what you're capable of. Because if you have a whole bunch of ideas, but none of them ever see the light of day, then you're not going to have success.
Absolutely. Yeah. We talked before about like how you approach this. There's various levels, right? One of the first questions you like to ask is how much can you spend on this, right? Like are we going high budget? Are we going low budget? There's different strategies involved. Can you give us maybe an example of an easy strategy for like, a law firm that doesn't have a lot of room and maybe something more advanced?
Yes. So easy, small budget or no budget. 100% of law firms do not convert every phone call into their office. So the easiest place you can start that costs $0 is talking to your intake and saying, okay, what are the calls that you're getting that are cases we cannot accept because it's a different practice area or it doesn't meet our standards for case acceptance? Train your intake team to make warm transfers. So instead of saying, I'm so sorry, Darren, that's not a case we accept. We unfortunately cannot help you. Good luck. The
Yeah.
experience is then, I'm so sorry, Darren. Unfortunately, that's not a case that we handle here in our office. However, we have a great relationship with the Gonzalez law firm up the road. I know their intake manager, Susan. Would you like me to make a warm transfer? Completely different experience. And now that potential new client
Wow.
that would have been rejected and now doesn't know where to go is
Yeah.
warm transferred to someone who can help. And now that warm transfer creates a referral relationship with another firm. And that's where you can
Hmm.
start your referral network. By coming
Yeah.
up with a list of those firms, you send your rejected cases to because it's just not a right fit for you, but it's a right fit for them. That costs $0. Everyone can do
hmm
that. The next step would be a smaller budget and saying at the very least, every single person should be sending a happy birthday card to a current and a former client. I talk about handwritten all the time because you can create an account with handwritten, upload all of your clients'
Oh yeah.
information. You can set up something called a campaign, and then handwritten sends all of those cards out for you. You set it and forget it. It takes maybe an hour to do unless you need time creating the list, and it's done. I have an affiliate link and a code if anyone wants a discount because I do get 10% off that I can share with everyone. But
Yeah.
that is, let's say it's like $3.50 a card. But
hmm
think about it. That $3.50 a card is a card you don't have to print. You don't have to
True.
sign. You don't
Yeah.
have to stuff. You don't have to put postage. You don't have to remember. There are so many like things that can happen that could prevent you from getting that out. And it also means your office isn't having to go to the post office each month. And your
Hmm.
office isn't having to say, okay, Darren, here are the birthday cards you need to sign this month, because handwritten can do it for you with a real pen. And so, small budget, at the very least, I'm recommending they do birthday cards to their clients, because honestly, when's the last time you got a birthday card? No
Yeah.
one sends me birthday cards, not even my mom. My mom doesn't even call me on my birthday. My mom sends me a text, and I have to tell her, Mom, that's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. So,
Yep.
so send a birthday card. It's not going
Okay.
to break the bank.
Hmm.
Next, I would say email marketing. There are companies out there, like my friend Charlie Mann has Red Kraken. There are companies that can help you do weekly emails to your email list. You don't have to hire someone internal, just use a company to help you stay in touch with those clients. And the reason I say that is there have been times where I have an example of a client who, and it's just personal injury because I was spent 7 years working inside of a personal injury law firm. People get in car crashes more than once.
Hmm.
It's unfortunate. It does happen. And thankfully, it doesn't happen to a
Wow.
lot of people, but it
Yeah.
does happen. Now it's cell phones are out. People aren't paying attention. It's much more common to get rear ended by one of those people. And there were instances where someone would get referred to the law firm and didn't come to us directly. And I would ask, well, why didn't you call us? We had a great relationship. And they would say, well, we just forgot. And that was on me as a legal marketer for not doing something to keep in touch with my former clients because they simply forgot about us. And so the
Hmm.
onus is on the law firm owner and the leadership team to say, what are we going to do to stay in touch with them? If you don't want to do email marketing and you hate that, okay, great. Why don't you throw a holiday party and invite your former clients? Why don't
Yeah.
you do a beginning of summer, end of school party and invite all of your clients and make it family friendly? Why don't you host a movie night at your local movie theater? You can rent out a theater for like $2,500 and then just pay for some popcorn. Fill that theater with people. And so those things can cost, the movie theater idea is like $2,500 plus like some snacks and drinks. Let's call it $3,500. That's not going to break the bank.
Hmm.
Um, and then if you want to do email marketing, then you're going to spend probably $1,000 a month, $1,500 a month to do something like that. And it keeps in touch each month or each week. And so
Yeah.
those are things that I suggest smaller law firms do that aren't going to really be a huge stretch on the budget. For the midsize and the 8 to 9 figure law firms out there that have a bigger budget,
Hmm.
sometimes those people have enough budget to actually hire someone whose job is to nurture those relationships. That's
Okay.
what I used to do in my last law firm. It's why I'm an advocate of it, because I noticed if I maintained those relationships and I did something every 30 days to stay in touch, I saw more referrals and we generate
Yeah.
more business that way. So it's
Okay.
using that budget to either hire someone internal and that's their job, or if you're not ready for that, deciding what you're going to do every 30 days, every quarter to keep in touch with those individuals and truly nurturing them. Maybe it's
Yeah.
meeting them in person, creating an experience with them. You guys all go to a game or a concert together. Maybe it's gifting, whatever that looks like, but using your budget to nurture those relationships, because out of sight, out of mind. You have to stay
Hmm.
in front of them.
Yeah. Yeah. We all have such short attention spans these days.
Yeah.
Is that really the key principle? Is just making your presence known? I mean, I think a lot of people think about referral marketing and they're like, I gotta pester people and bug people for introductions, but is it really just making your presence known?
That, and also, I am someone who really believes referral marketing is about relationships. So I don't think
Mm-hmm.
about it I think about it differently because I try every day just to be a human.
Yeah.
And so for me, I think differently, and this is what I teach because not every outreach has to be a sale. It can just be
Mm.
caring about someone. So, for
Okay.
example, if someone is listening to one of your recent Profit First podcast episodes and it resonates with them, a
Yeah.
very easy thing they can do is share the link to that podcast episode and say, "Hey, Darren, I was listening to this podcast episode and I really loved what the host said about blank. I wanted to share it with you." That's not salesy. That's adding value.
Yeah.
That's sharing something that can help a referral partner and better their business.
Hmm.
Relationship and referral marketing can just be as simple as caring and sharing something of value and helping a person. It doesn't always have to be, "Hey, Darren, how's it going? You want to send me a case?" No, I don't want to talk to that person. But if I'm constantly
Yeah.
sharing things that tell you I'm thinking about you or help you in your business and I'm just like being a person, that's
Hmm.
very different.
So I love that you went there, because this is like the deeper level, like going beyond tactics to like referral marketing is an attitude, right? It's a
Ooh.
way of speaking. There's a style, there's a element of luxury that you can bring in, right? I was talking to one of our clients, and she's been trying to get out of the intake, and all of her cases are referrals pretty much. And so she tried it. She had another attorney take over the intake, and she was CC'd on all of the communications, and she let it happen for like 2 days, and then was like, no, I have to step back in, because she was like, the responses were very short, very simple, like, we're not going to take that case, or we will take this case. And she said, when I respond, I do this whole email, about their life, and I'm very, caring and very effusive, and so there's a style element and a certain way of communicating, right? Too, isn't there?
Yes. Have you ever heard the phrase, "How you do anything is how you do everything"?
Yes,
That's
yeah,
exactly what you're making me think of right now. If your
yeah.
experience with me is one of care and concern and thoughtfulness and professionalism and white glove and I make you feel like you're the only person I'm talking to right now, that is
Hmm.
an exceptional experience I want everyone to have with current clients, future clients, rejected clients.
Yeah.
But I think the hard part about our industry is sometimes we take so many phone calls like that
Hmm.
sometimes we become kind of like robots. And I
Yeah.
see it with, like, for example, I did personal injury for so long. There came a certain point in time where I felt like I became a bit numb
Hmm.
to the conversations because I hear them so often.
Oh, sure.
And it's and some of that is protective, right? My body and my brain is protecting me from trying to show as much emotion because I'm trying to be professional and understand what I need to do because someone just lost their loved one. And
Hmm.
this like business person turns on, but it also kind of takes away the heart and the connection you have with someone when you're talking through those things. And so I think sometimes we have to remember to talk to intake and talk to the people on our team and say, "Hey, let's not forget what it is that we're doing and who we're helping and how it changes their lives." Because sometimes we do it for so long that I think we forget this is their first time dealing with this. It's not ours, but they're
Hmm.
uncomfortable, they're unsure, they need help. It's the worst day of their life sometimes, and we have to show empathy. And so,
Yeah.
yes, I mean, that's a great example. She's caring and she's doing these things because that's who she is. And honestly,
Yeah.
sometimes you have to train for that. You truly do.
Yeah.
Not everyone has it.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Hard to teach, for sure. Well, Delisi, where do you think this is going? The world is changing so fast. So much is happening with AI and technology. Where do you see referral marketing like 5 years from now?
Yes, I find right now very interesting because everyone in legal is like AI, AI, AI. And then there are some of those like doomsday people who say AI is going to just take over all the jobs. I truly believe AI will never replace human connection, ever.
Hmm.
And an AI, a robot, none of those things can replace the connection a person has with another person in real life, or with words, or with facial expressions, or with your tone of voice. That's not going to happen. And so, where do I see the industry in 5 years? My projection is going to be in 5 years, you're going to see the law firms who lean so heavily on AI that there's going to be a big distinction between those law firms and the law firms who say, that's not us. We will use AI to become more efficient, to draft documents, to summarize thousands of pages of discovery. However, we will not forget the human side of what we do, and we'll have real people talking to our clients and engaging with them. And I
Yeah.
think it will be up to our clients to decide which law firm is the right law firm for them. And I think in 5 years, that's a real question that potential clients are going to need to ask. Do I want to call that law firm and everything's a robot and everything's AI? Or do I want to call the other law firm and I know the name of my lawyer? I know the name of my case manager. If I want to pick up the phone, a person answers. That's where I
Yeah.
think we'll be in 5 years.
Yeah. I almost think it's going to be more important and more valuable because people will need that trust factor. I think I see it right now. There's so many like AI ads and AI generated content, and it almost becomes just like mind numbing. And it's like I want like a really clear cut human response to something like um yeah, and the trust factor, like, with AI, there's so many different versions, there's so many different softwares and tools. Like, I feel like the having a human that you trust, that you have that deep connection with, is maybe going to be more important.
Oh, absolutely. Think about here's some big practice areas where I see that being a huge piece of the pie. Criminal
Hmm.
defense,
Yeah.
personal injury, family law, immigration. Those are probably the four practice areas where I think that's going to be vital because those are
Yeah.
highly emotional situations and matters, and they need to talk to someone and they're feeling a lot of things. And so
Definitely.
I think for those practice areas, it's going to be way more important, just like you mentioned, because there's such a human aspect of what we do.
Yeah. Yeah. Great stuff. Well, Delisi, tell us a little bit about how you got into this. What inspired you to focus on referral marketing?
I fell into it. Um, I really think I was meant to just do this. My dad's a trial lawyer. When I was 14, I was answering phone calls at his office. So at 14, I was learning these things. My dad built his business on referral marketing and one church ad that he's done since I was a little kid. That's it. And when I was 14, I learned what I just said to you a few moments ago, where every call that came into our office was very important. If we couldn't help them, we would
Hmm.
connect them with someone who could. And so I
Yeah.
learned that skill when I was 14. And
Yeah.
it made me who I am today. So when I sadly broke my dad's heart and told him I wouldn't be a lawyer with him and we wouldn't go be in trial together, because I just realized it's not me, Dad, it's not me. I went into legal marketing because I still love this profession so much. And I helped Michael Cowan of Cowan Rodriguez Peacock grow his business from 7 figures to 8 figures, all on referrals. That's all we
Wow.
did was referral marketing. And then when I went to go work with R. John Robbins at How to Manage a Small Law Firm, I learned the business side, but he also created such a community of lawyers who all cared about being better and having better law firms and being more efficient. And I fell in love with the community and the connection aspect of it. And all of those experiences together led me to say, I need to start a business. It's going to be all on referral marketing. I need to teach lawyers what I learned since I was a kid all the way until my last experience working with Arjan, and show them how to do it. Because if you think about it, they don't teach any of this in law school. They also don't teach any of this at the Bar Association or the legal conferences or anything like that.
Yeah.
So if I don't use my loud mouth and my energy to just shout from the rooftop, y'all should all be working on referral marketing, then I don't know what happens. So I just made the decision I needed to be talking about this more and sharing it with everyone, because these small and mid-sized law firms need to know what they can be doing to bring cases in the door. They may not be able to compete with ad spend, so compete with relationships. And with AI progressing, I think their firms will stand out more when they add a human personal touch to it all.
I love it so much because it's the one way that you as a small law firm can stand out and be successful and not have to spend so much money. And I see a lot of small law firms. There are no small lawyers. I see a lot of great lawyers running small law firms who are spending so much in digital ads, and it's really tough to stand out that way. And this is one way you could really grow your business and do really well and not have to be so reliant on the hamster wheel of digital ads.
Well,
Yeah.
and you brought something up that I say all the time. It is okay to spend money in digital marketing. You shouldn't put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
But if you are going to do digital marketing and pay for your phone to ring and pay for those form fills and pay for whatever, make your money be more efficient by turning those rejected cases into the beginning of referral partnerships.
Ooh, I love that. Yes.
Then you know you spent the money. The money is gone. It's out of your bank account. You spent the money to make the phone ring.
Yeah.
What happens when that money doesn't convert to a case? What are you doing with that opportunity? Turn it into a referral relationship.
That's great. Yeah. Oh, Delisi, I know you're loving the book The Road Less Stupid by Keith Cunningham, which we're going to be reading later in the year. Are there any other books? Like, what's a book every law firm owner should have on their shelf, like related to this topic, do you think is great?
Ooh, okay. First, I would say Unreasonable Hospitality, which is back there in yellow, by Will Guidara. I think the experience that your clients have in your law firm is so important. That's a great book that talks about that. Another one also on my bookshelf is Giftology by John Ruhlin. That book is all about the importance of gifting for relationships, and I'm a huge believer in that. It's a great book. The second edition just came out last year, unfortunately, right after John passed away. But that book really talks about why there is true power in a gift that connects you to someone else. The other one, and I've got it right up there, This is Marketing by Seth Godin. The same marketing principles that are important for every other business out there can also apply to lawyers. And I think it's important for us to be educating ourselves on marketing tactics as a whole, and then thinking about how to apply that to our law firms. And then another one, just for fun, I read a lot of books, clearly, is The Last Conversation. It's somewhere back there by Jefferson Fisher. Have you read it?
No, I haven't.
Oh my God, Darren. Okay. First of all, Jefferson Fisher is here from Texas. He is a lawyer who is so likable. And when you hear his voice in the audiobook, you're like, yes, just keep talking to me. I could just listen to your soothing Texan accent all day long. But he is a lawyer who talks about the importance of communication and what your body says and your facial expressions say and what your words say when you're interacting with people, and the importance of breath and all the things. Every lawyer should continue to study communication, because communication to a client, communication to a judge, opposing counsel, potential new client, communication is just so important that I actually gift that book to lawyers because I'm such a fan of it. And so I'm a huge fan of The Last Conversation by Jefferson Fisher. If you don't like to read books, the audiobook is excellent. I've done both.
Oh, great. Thank you so much for those great recommendations.
You're welcome.
We'll make sure we get all of those in the chat. Well, Delisi, it's been fabulous talking with you. If there's one thing that our listeners need to do that you want, if you do nothing at all after this episode, do this one thing, what would that be?
It would be going right now to talk to your receptionist or your intake team and saying, give me a list of all of the calls that came into the office and we rejected them. Looking at that list and seeing why they were rejected and how you can turn those rejections into warm transfers to a law firm that can help them. And using that list to be the beginning of a referral network.
I love that. Well, Delisi, where can our listeners go to learn more about you?
LinkedIn. I am a huge advocate on LinkedIn. I know you are too. So LinkedIn. And then if anyone has questions or just wants to learn more about my business, firstcallfriday.com. They can read up about me or learn about the things that I'm doing and how to work together if they'd like.
Great. Well, we will get all of that in the show notes. Thanks so much for being on today.
Thank you so much, Darren.
All right. Well, a huge thank you to Delisi Friday for joining us today and sharing some really great tips. You can find her at firstcallfriday.com and connect with her on LinkedIn. And all the book recommendations and resources we'll link for you in the show notes. I see it every day. The attorneys we work with who are doing the best aren't the ones spending the most on ads. They're the ones who have invested in genuine relationships over time and built a reputation that precedes them. And what Delisi said about it being an attitude, not just a tactic, that's the part that most people miss entirely. Here at The Lawyer Millionaire, our theme this year is profit on purpose. And referral marketing is one of the most powerful profit levers you can pull, because when your marketing is built on trust and relationships, your cost to acquire a client drops, your close rate goes up, you get higher value clients, and your firm becomes far less dependent on the ad spend hamster wheel. That's the kind of sustainable, efficient growth that's going to build you long-term wealth. So if today's episode got you thinking about where your firm's growth is really coming from and whether your financial strategy is keeping up with it, I'd love to talk with you. Book a call with me using the link in the show notes, and let's map out what profit on purpose looks like for your firm. Well, that's it today, friend. Just remember, if your law firm isn't building you wealth and freedom, what the hell are you doing? Can I get an amen? All right, I'll see you next time.
Are you a law firm owner looking to build real wealth and break free from the daily grind? On the Lawyer Millionaire podcast, we share practical strategies to grow your practice, maximize profits, and create the financial freedom you deserve. Join host Darren Wurz as he interviews top experts and successful law firm leaders who share their secrets. Don't just practice law, build a legacy. Listen now to The Lawyer Millionaire wherever you get your podcast. The Lawyer Millionaire podcast is for informational and educational purposes only. It is not intended as legal, tax, or investment advice. Listeners should consult with a qualified professional before making any financial or business decisions. The views expressed by guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect those of Darren Wurz or Lawyer Millionaire Wealth Advisors.